The crowd inside the airport froze. A deep, frantic bark cut through the noise, sharp, desperate, and unlike anything they'd ever heard. A powerful K9 police dog was lunging, dragging his handler across the polished floor, barking wildly at a little girl standing alone near Gate 12. "Control your dog," someone shouted. Phones came out. People backed away, fear rippling through the crowd. The girl's tiny hands trembled around her pink backpack as tears filled her eyes. "Please, I didn't do anything," she whispered, but the dog didn't stop. His bark wasn't angry. It was urgent, pleading, and when Officer Mark Jensen finally followed his partner's gaze, he realized the horrifying truth. Rex wasn't warning about the girl. He was warning for her. The morning sun poured through the glass walls of the airport terminal, painting golden streaks across the polished floors. The sound of rolling suitcases, boarding announcements, and distant chatter blended into a familiar rhythm. Just another busy day at one of the country's largest airports. Officer Mark Jensen moved steadily through the concourse, his every step mirrored by his K9 partner, Rex, a powerful German shepherd with sharp amber eyes and a vest marked police. Together, they were the airport's most trusted security team, trained for narcotics, explosives, and high-risk emergencies. Mark glanced down at Rex, who was sniffing the air more than usual, ears twitching, muscles tight. "Easy, boy," Mark murmured. "It's just another patrol." But deep down, he noticed something different, a quiet tension in Rex's posture, as if he sensed something the humans couldn't as they passed through Gate 14. Rex suddenly paused, his gaze sweeping the terminal. Mark followed his eyes, seeing nothing out of the ordinary, just travelers, families, children, and laughter. Yet, Rex's instincts were rarely wrong. Mark brushed off the unease, unaware that within minutes, this calm routine would spiral into chaos. And Rex's next bark would change everything. Mark had just turned toward the boarding gates when Rex froze mid-step. The German shepherd's muscles went rigid, tail straight, nose lifted slightly as he sniffed the air. His ears flicked forward, locked on something in the crowd. Mark followed his gaze and saw nothing unusual. Just travelers checking phones, sipping coffee, children laughing. Then, without warning, Rex lunged forward, barking with a force that shook the terminal. The sudden sound echoed like a gunshot, sending passengers into panic. A few screamed. Others froze. Mark's grip tightened on the leash. "Rex, heel!" He barked, but the K9 didn't obey. His eyes were fixed on one person. A small red-haired girl, no older than 7, stood near the corner with a pink backpack hugged to her chest. Tears welled in her eyes as Rex barked relentlessly, claws scraping the floor. "Please," she cried. "I didn't do anything." 2 nearby officers rushed over, hands on their holsters. "What's going on, Jensen?" one shouted. But even Mark didn't know. Rex wasn't showing aggression, it was desperation. His bark wasn't warning of danger. It was calling for attention. The scene turned chaotic. Security formed a barrier. Passengers filmed with trembling hands. Mark's voice trembled as he shouted, "Everyone back. Give us space." Rex's growl deepened, eyes flicking between the girl and something unseen behind her. Mark's gut twisted. Whatever was happening, this wasn't a normal alert. Something was terribly wrong. Mark's pulse raced as the tension thickened in the terminal. The little girl stood frozen, clutching her backpack tighter as tears streaked her cheeks. Passengers whispered nervously, forming a cautious circle around her. "Everyone stay calm," Mark ordered, his voice steady though his heart pounded. He knelt beside Rex, trying to read the dog's body language. Rex wasn't baring his teeth. Instead, he barked, paced, and whimpered between growls, glancing from the girl to something far away, as if torn between 2 alarms. Mark signaled 2 officers. "Check the girl's bag," he said quietly. One of them gently approached, speaking softly. "Sweetheart, can we see what's in your backpack?" The girl hesitated, trembling. "It's just my books and my teddy bear," she whispered. They scanned the bag. Nothing. No explosives, no metals, no threats. Yet Rex didn't stop. He backed away, then barked again, louder this time, facing the ceiling vents above. Mark frowned. "What are you seeing, boy?" Then came a faint sound. A soft, rhythmic tick-tick. Tick echoed from somewhere near the vent. The officers froze. Mark's eyes widened. Rex lunged forward, barking at the source of the noise. Mark realized it in a chilling instant. Rex hadn't been barking at the little girl at all. He'd been barking for her, "Evacuate the area now." Mark shouted into his radio, his voice echoing across the hall. "We've got a possible device." Panic erupted, and the clock had already started. Mark's voice thundered through the terminal as officers scrambled into action. "Evacuate the area now." Passengers rushed toward exits, clutching bags and children as alarms blared overhead. Rex barked wildly, pulling Mark toward the ceiling vent where the faint ticking grew louder. The air felt heavy, thick with fear and adrenaline. Two bomb technicians arrived, guided by Rex's unrelenting growls. One climbed onto a chair and peered into the vent. His face went pale. "There's something up here," he muttered. Carefully, he unscrewed the panel, revealing a small, metallic device with blinking red lights. The sound was unmistakable, a live timer. Mark's stomach dropped. The girl had been standing directly beneath it. Rex hadn't been attacking, he'd been protecting. "Get everyone out," Mark shouted, his voice breaking. Officers herded the crowd as the bomb squad rushed to contain the area. Rex kept barking, his body low and tense, never taking his eyes off the device. The lead technician examined the wiring, sweat beading on his forehead. "It's set to detonate in minutes," he said grimly. Mark knelt beside Rex, gripping his harness. "You saved her, buddy," he whispered. Heart pounding, the realization hit like a wave. If Rex hadn't reacted when he did, the explosion would have torn through the crowded terminal. But even as the team worked frantically, a chilling thought struck Mark. What if there was more than one device? The bomb squad moved fast, their gloved hands steady as they worked through the maze of wires. Every tick from the device echoed like a heartbeat in the silence. "Timer's unstable," one muttered. "We have less than 60 seconds." Mark shielded the little girl behind a column, crouching low with Rex pressed close beside them. "You're going to be okay," he whispered to her, though his own voice trembled. The girl clung to her teddy bear, whispering, "I just want my mom." Then boom. A muffled blast thundered from the adjoining corridor. The shockwave sent dust and debris swirling through the air. Mark instinctively threw his body over the girl as Rex leapt to cover them both. Screams echoed. Alarms blared again. Smoke filled the terminal. The bomb squad's radios crackled. Secondary device went off. "Section C compromised." Mark coughed through the haze, his eyes stinging. "Rex," he called. The German shepherd whimpered but stood firm, shielding the girl despite a bleeding paw. Amid the chaos, the mother's cry pierced the air. "My daughter!" She screamed from beyond the barricade. Mark's heart broke as he saw her reaching through the smoke, and realized how close they'd come to losing everything. The terminal was a haze of smoke, flashing lights, and sirens. Firefighters doused small flames while medics rushed between the injured. Amid the wreckage, Mark sat against a column, cradling Rex's head in his lap. The loyal K9's fur was matted with dust and blood, but his chest still rose and fell, steady, brave. "Hang in there, buddy," Mark whispered, his voice hoarse. "You did it. You saved them." Moments later, the little girl's mother burst through the security line, tears streaming down her face. She fell to her knees, wrapping her arms around her daughter. "You're safe," she sobbed. "Thank God, you're safe." The girl clung to her mother, then turned toward Rex and whispered, "He saved me, Mommy." Hours passed. The chaos calmed, leaving behind quiet exhaustion. A team of investigators confirmed the worst. There had been 2 explosive devices planted within minutes of each other. One failed to fully detonate, the other triggered prematurely. Dozens were saved because of Rex's early alert. Mark stood outside the ambulance as paramedics treated Rex's injuries. Cameras flashed nearby. Reporters shouted questions. But Mark ignored them all. He knelt, meeting Rex's tired eyes. "You didn't bark at her, did you?" he murmured softly. "You barked for her." The dog gave a faint wag of his tail, a small sign of victory. Days later, the airport honored Rex with a Medal of Bravery. The crowd erupted in applause as Mark placed it around his partner's neck. As the ceremony ended, the little girl approached and placed her teddy bear beside Rex. "For my hero," she said, and in that moment, Mark knew some heroes don't wear uniforms. They wear fur, loyalty, and a heart that never stops protecting.